Well, we've made our way through the FA Cup proper yet again here with Buxton FC. Probably a good thing this time, seeing as it was a board expectation. And we have got a big team this time in the FA Cup first round. It's Reading. It would have been really nice though if we got them away instead of at home. So fingers crossed here. We can maybe take this to a replay. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 19 of Rookie to Royalty here on Shaun Does FM with Buxton FC. I hope you're doing well. And coming up today, got the first round of the FA Cup where we take on Reading. These guys currently are near the top, if not on top. Indeed, that is the case of League 2, one division above us here while we're in the Vanarama National League. It is at home, so hopefully we can make the most here of home advantage and maybe take this to a replay. If we have that, obviously, that'll be the second game in today's episode. And if we get that, they've got a really big stadium for that level of just under 25,000 people. Of course, our stadium, a bit less. It's got about 4,000. So I was actually quite bummed when we got the home draw for this round, but hopefully can make the most of it here and maybe knock off the team on top of League 2. If we can't, we'll then come back though and take on Newport County, who sits second in our league. So two big games coming up today, no matter which two that they are. But this comes off the back of the couple of games that we did play in yesterday's episode. At the time looked like our toughest ones for a little while as we took on both Rochdale as well as South Shield. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. In those games we did pick up a draw away against Rochdale, but then put on a bit of a show there to beat South Shield's 3-1. Late goals there to Alice Lahane off the back of a switch of wingers. So since then, we've made that permanent. We've now got McLean out left and Colville out right. You can see our form has been pretty darn good. We start off there with a 2-0 win over Tamworth. To be fair, you might have expected us to do a bit better there considering Tamworth are rock bottom of the National League, but still away from home, we'll take all 3 points when we can there with goals to George Morgan early and late on off the bench to Caden Kelly. Off the back of that, had the fourth qualifying round, our only qualifying round this season for this FA Cup, took on Russell Olympic, a mid to lower table team from the Vanarama National League North, and thankfully picked up here a relatively comfortable win, even with pretty close to a full rotation, things our players were quite tight off the back of those South Shields and Tamworth games prior, where we used our first 11 for the most part. Thankfully, the rotation got us through here to the Cup. Proper goals to McLean, Leeson and Lahane. Jake Brown did make things interesting there at the 65-minute mark, but thankfully we held our nerve and did win there at home. So that's how we made our way through here to the first round. We will take on Reading, but before then, we're Yeovil Town at home just inside the bottom half of the National League, and thankfully a 2-0 win there thanks to goals to Sebastian Williams as well as Ryan McLean yet again. But then the one loss we've suffered off the back of yesterday's episode, it was away from home, so I suppose it makes a bit more sense, but it was to Solihull Moors, and these guys aren't actually doing that well. I have found some form off the back of that win. They did pick up over us, but are down in 17th. Honestly, a bit disappointed that we couldn't win this game, especially off the back of an early George Morgan penalty. But then they strike twice during quick succession for, I imagine, the brothers and Max and Kai Martin. So unfortunately, we suffer a defeat there, but that's our only one in the month of October. Hopefully, might have a shot of picking up Manager of the Month off the back of bouncing back with a 4-2 win over Borehamwood back at the Tarmac Silverlands. Ryan McLean again with goals in this game, this time a hat-trick. Sebastian Williams just before halftime as well. David Agbontahoma did pick up a double either side of halftime, but considering that McLean hat-trick as well as that Williams goal, that game was always pretty well under control. So really our form off the back of yesterday's episode has been pretty darn good, taking on some teams who aren't doing too well. So I'll take those results. That one loss, a bit frustrating, but thankfully picked up maximum points from all the other games. I'll update you guys on what the National League table looks like in more depth before we come back for the second game today, provided it's not a replay. So to be fair, considering that, actually, maybe you should check it out now. And we are just outside of a playoff spot all of a sudden, just 1 point there off Barnet, South Shields and Dagenham and Redbridge, and within touching reach of Ebbsfleet as well as Bradford City, depending on goal differential. Newport County, their goal differential is a lot stronger, but still, that's a much better position than we were in at the start of the season, off the back of that 6-2 defeat to Southend United, which continues to be really, really weird considering that they now are inside of the relegation zone. But first up today, we focus on the FA Cup. As I said, I'd really like to actually take this one to a replay that would be quite good for the club finances, albeit at this point with the Tycoon takeover maybe. We shouldn't worry about that and just be happy that we've got these guys at home at the top of League 2 and by a pretty big margin as well, 5 points clear of Northampton Town. So they're looking pretty odds on there to go up to League 1 at the end of this season. And of course, the former home of Tyler Bindham in this save, he's moved to Nottingham Forest from the start of the save. So to be fair, his profile's quite funny. The New Zealand defender, he never actually got signed by Reading. He just went straight to Nottingham Forest because we're kind of playing FM25 on FM24. But no, Tyler Bindham does mean this Reading team hopefully might be a little bit vulnerable, albeit their recent form is quite good. They're top of the division above ours. And we come into this one with a couple of tired players. We'll go over here to the tactics and you'll see that we have gone in for this game. Max McKnight at right back, Leeson at centre back in place there of Hewlett. We've got Kazim there for Jake Lee, whose recent form actually has meant that he's worked his way back into that starting 11, but not for this game, seeing as he is on a heavy workload. So a couple of changes in defence for this game. Also, since you were last here, if we go over here and untick the players not at club to hide, we'll go down here and you'll see that Manny Taylor, we actually ended up loaning out to Alfreton Town. So that was a way to get rid of that big wage that he was on off the back of those free appearances he made for us last season as that emergency Deidre Lama replacement. In the end, we had 3 strikers here this season who are better than him, and on £675 a week, I thought we'd let him go to Alfreton Town. He can stay there until the end of his contract, and then we'll probably let him go permanently. So Manny Taylor no longer at the club. It does mean now that our wage budget is quite good at 1k a week, but considering that we're doing quite well currently with this Buxton team, don't think we need to bring anyone extra in just yet. We'll see how Connor Kirby continues to go there in balling midfield, because he still not on that great a reign, but to be fair, a 6.8 in his last 5 games is a little bit better than what it had been previously, and hopefully, despite that rotation at the back, we can do a decent job here, and hopefully, at the very least, make this one quite competitive against the top team in League 2. Also, before we get on to the first game in today's episode, we are studying, it doesn't pop up there, but we are definitely studying for a National B licence. They finally agreed to it, the board here at Buxton, the most recent time that I did ask for it. So hopefully that won't affect us too much in terms of our coaching. At the moment, it doesn't seem that it's been an issue considering our form off the back of yesterday's episode, but hopefully that Netty B licence will get it soon, and that can help us maybe be a bit more attractive to some bigger clubs if we decide that's something that we want to do. But obviously, with the Tycoon takeover and all of a sudden us surging up this National League table, we're quite happy to bide our time here for now at Buxton, see if we can get these guys up to League 2, and then maybe might be a bit more attractive. And actually got 9 subs, didn't realise that last time it was 7 in that 4th qualifying round, so a lot more subs here than I'm used to. So Cole Kelly can make his way onto the bench as Canaluco, just to make sure we've got some actual wing cover instead of having to use someone like Caden Kelly, who is a bit more of an attacking midfield type player, ideal to replace someone like Sebastian Williams. It now means a few more options on the bench. That's quite useful here in the first round of this FA Cup. Reading, obviously top of League 2. That'll be a pretty tough nut for us here to crack at home, albeit we are sticking with the Buxton base, seeing as this is a home game. We've been doing really well recently with that tactic. It's been the only one we've really needed to use for the most part since we did that tactical cooking at the start of this week. So we'll see how it gets on here against the best team from the division above. If it does a decent job, then yeah, that might be a good tactic to stick with here with this Buxton team. But obviously, if we can take this to a replay, that might be a good time to test out the block away from home, because then we've got not much to lose, and Reading at home, they could be a bit of a dangerous threat. But underway here inside the first 5 minutes, not much going on, albeit we have got the first shot off in this game, which is quite nice, and so far dominating position as well, as you'd expect with this control position kind of wing play style. Now, Connor Kirby has picked up a yellow card, albeit off the back of that, we've got the first throw-in of this game, the first highlight, close enough to inside of the final third. Kirby just makes his way forward, picks out the, I think that was Colwell. It finds its way somehow to Morgan, who takes on a shot looking for the top right corner, but Pereira places himself well to make a save, pumps that one deep, but thankfully the Adalusi does head that one across to McKnight today, and we keep hold of the ball. We go back there briefly to Casper, and now get it forward to McLean. He picks out Colville down that right-hand side, cuts inside, takes on the shot a little bit iffy there from the Reading goalkeeper, but unfortunately, they can clear their lines. But early stages does look light here we're quite threatening against the top team from League 2, so this base tactic is working quite well. Or better say that now. We go down the other end here for a throw-in to Reading, and it's a bit of a cheesy goal to concede. They flick that one on and put it away there at the far post. It is a duty goal to concede. They must have Lujo in charge. It's a big long throw. They flick it on there inside the inner box and can put it away there through Watson. And we go 1-0 down really with Reading's first attack of the game. But up until then, we were doing quite well. So that's a bit disappointing. Hopefully can find a way here to level things up before half time. But now it's Charlie Savage who has a free kick. He gets his left foot around that one. Some good curve. Picks up his second goal of the season. Casper there maybe should be doing better at his near post. And just like that off the back of a really encouraging start, we've gone 2-0 down. To be fair, it is a good free kick. But still Casper did all the hard work to get to that one. Just let it go through his hands. He goes down to a 6.4. So yet again, in an FA Cup first round game, our goalkeeper might be letting us down. Of course, last year it was Reece Truman against Fleetwood Town. We're going to make some subs here. Unfortunately, Colville struggling on a 6.4. So Aluko can come on him. And also Mohammed for the yellow carded Kirby there in defensive midfield. Apart from that, though, the ratings aren't too bad. And we've still got 3 more subs we can make throughout the remainder of the second half. It could be quite useful if we do need to try a tactic like the Buxton Blitz if we get behind by too much and need to search goals with that 4-2-4. So we'll see how things go here in the second half. Give the guys there a little bit of a rev up, but still, they're not expected to beat a team like Reading. So we've got to be somewhat kind to them here. Good work early from Aluko in the second half. Williams gets on the ball, takes on the shot, tries to curve that one inside that right-hand post, but unfortunately it comes off it and goes out for a goal kick. So we're going close here to breaking our duck, but unfortunately not quite happening. Reading still 2 goals in front. Morgan now will take it on a shot only a few minutes later, just puts that one over the bar and he drops down to a 6.4. He's been so good for us this season. Here's the former Evertonian, but at the moment not doing too well. We've got extra subs. Well, we've got them. Let's take him off for Alice Lahane. When he's come on, he's usually done a pretty good job. Just checking who else out there is struggling. Max McKnight, Harry Leeson, those the other 2 not doing too well on a 6.5. To be fair, Leeson is quite dangerous from set pieces. That could be quite useful. Now we've taken off Morgan at 1.91 metres tall. In fact, it's 1.89. I got that wrong in the last episode. But McLean now drops down to a deep red heart. So Kyle Kelly, he'll come on here with our second to last sub. And we're about to make our way to the final half hour of this game. Reading now are on top in terms of stats. Sebastian Williams has picked up a yellow card. So maybe that's how we use our final sub instead of someone who might be struggling a little bit more. So they'll be a bit frustrating. But Reading here, try and get on the attack. Thankfully, just deal with the danger there from that ball that gets floated inside the box. They do it again. We hear it clear, but unfortunately Savage is there to tidy things up. They ping that one here out to the right-hand side, get a chance there inside the box. But thankfully this time they blast that one over the bar. But now I think here with potentially our final sub, what we'll do is take off Williams while switching to the 4-4-2. Unfortunately, we did take off George Morgan, so it does mean we've only got 1 out-and-out striker. But of course, Caden Kelly can do a little bit of a job there. I think what we're going to do here is play Lahane as a poacher, seeing as he looks a bit more natural there than as an advanced forward, and Caden Kelly looks pretty similar in either role. And we'll see what the 4-4-2 might do here, as we need goals with only 20 minutes left. And now, unfortunately, a free kick here for Reading. Savage goes looking for a double, but that one does come off the woodwork. So unfortunately, the momentum off the back of a really good start to both halves has seemed to change. We conceded 2 there late in the first, and so far haven't quite recovered. Thankfully, get the ball back there. Midgley will find Kyle Kelly. Just does enough there, keep that ball by finding Mohammed. And now McKnight plays that over the top there to Aluko. Will float this far post there. Unfortunately, no one will fight for us anymore to try and head that one home. That's a big advantage of George Morgan in that role over someone like Lahane. And unfortunately, Reading do clear it there and now get a chance on the counter-attack. George there takes on a shot from just outside the box, but thankfully that one does go over the bar. But now there's only 15 minutes left. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to take this one to a replay. We've had chances to score goals in this game, especially in the early stages of that first half. But unfortunately, just hasn't quite clicked for us here in this game. So that's a bit disappointing with a home tie in the first round here of the FA Cup. It would be really nice if we got these guys away, because then I would have expected to lose a little bit more as Kanu makes it 3-0 there from a near post corner. We're definitely going out, no saving this now. Unfortunately, the Buxton blitz not working too well as probably expected against the team who are the top of League 2, but we've certainly shown some fight in this game. Just our finishing hasn't really been good enough, albeit a late free kick here for us, but unfortunately can't link up with anyone there at the far post. We hoofed that one forward looking for Mohammed. Unfortunately, actually a chance here for Reading on the counter-attack. Kande starts to make his way forward there down that left-hand side. Good work from McKnight, though, to win that ball back for us. Let's see what we can do. But Aluko with a loose touch. So it does mean Reading here back on the ball. George gets a good chance to make it 4-0, but thankfully puts that one just over the bar. Somehow did stay onside. But unfortunately, yet again, we get knocked out in the first round of the FA Cup, albeit this time to the top team in League 2. So to be fair, can't complain too much, but definitely missed some chances early in that game to potentially take a lead, but then Reading with a quick fire double from set piece, a long thrower, and then a free kick. And really, we never recovered, had to chase the game there in that last half hour and went 3-0 down. Unfortunately, our attackers not quite on form today as we make our way here through the post-match interview. It would be really nice if all our best 11 came into that one not on heavy workloads. That might have affected us in terms of our defence, but to be fair, so far this season, our rotation players have done a pretty good job, and it would have been really nice if that was away from home because we would have got more money from it. But unfortunately, that was not the case. We were stuck there at our small tarmac Silverlands and get knocked down in the first round of the FA Cup by Reading. And before we come back to play Newport County, we now have, of course, this game that we play against Barnet off camera away from home and got off here to a really nice start. The Kelly's linking up here. Caden found Kyle there inside the box, headed it home to make it 1-0 in the first half. And then it goes back to Pinion, who rockets that one into the top left corner. So it took a 2-0 lead there into half time. But unfortunately, our team talk wasn't too good because then we kind of bowled this, conceded a goal there around the hour mark. And then, just as we made our way into injury time, Callum Stead puts that one away, and we kind of bottle 3 points there, which is a bit disappointing, but still against the Barnet team who are inside of that top 10. I don't think a point is that bad, just really frustrating after having a 2-0 lead at halftime. Maybe not a good idea there to take off some of the players that we did. We brought on Waldrum and Charlie Pavey and Lahane, but as it turns out, they didn't have too much impact and probably kind of harmed us, and we bottled what looked like they're a pretty strong position where we should have picked up 3 points. What that does there for the National League table is actually it somehow moves us up, so that point was not too bad. Barnet are still just above us there with that point that they picked up, but now we are inside of the playoffs. As I said, that point not too bad, but really it should have been more, and if we picked up a win there, that would have got us above Ebbsfleet into 5th, so potentially there a little bit of a missed opportunity. Let's now see how we get on when we take on Newport County, this one back at home, but they are up in second, are the Welsh club from Rodney Parade, and these guys were expected to finish in 7th. Their recent form isn't the greatest, a couple of draws in there, but still they've been beating a couple of quite good teams in Ebbsfleet as well as York City, a team who were expected to be up there this season, currently down just a little bit further than they're supposed to be in 9th, but still they come to this one Newport County in some pretty good form. So we'll see what we can do here against the team from Wales looking to make their way up there to Sky Bet League 2. But now we've put ourselves into a decent position to hopefully have a crack at the playoffs this season. I wasn't expecting that, but certainly off the back of those tactical changes that we have made, that is now a possibility. If we can keep this form up, hopefully can pick up some points here at home against the team who are right up there in terms of the title fight, just 1 point behind Scunthorpe and jointly with Bradford, and only 5 points ahead of us. So certainly not out of reach if we can beat them here in the second game in today's episode. Unfortunately, we've picked up an injury in our squad off the back of those Reading and Barnet games, but be fair, it's not too serious when it's to one of our backup centre-backs in Harry Leeson and an abdominal strain 5 days to 3 weeks, so it does mean a little bit lighter there in terms of depth, but of course, Zan Mohammed can cover centre-back as well as defensive midfield and right-back, so it does mean that maybe he gets used a bit more in that centre-back role over the next couple of weeks while Harry Leeson is out with that injury, but thankfully able to put out here a much stronger squad than we did for that FA Cup tie against Reading, and hopefully as well can actually pick up a result here, because now we've only won 1 of our last 4 games, which is a little bit concerned. Potentially there a little bit of an FA Cup hangover. Let's hope at home we can bounce back from that Reading defeat as well, as bottling those points away from home and do a decent job here against Newport County. But to be fair, this is quite a tough matchup. Even a point from this game would not be the worst. As I said, we've gone back here to our usual best 11. League comes back in for Kazim Singh, as his recent form is a little bit better. And also on the bench, Charlie Pavey comes up from our under-21s. That's because Caden Kelly off the back of that really good performance against Barnet, unfortunately not to pick up all 3 points because we bottled that one, but he's on a heavy workload. So Pavey comes up from our under-21s, quite similar player, can cover lots of positions and attacking midfield, which is quite handy when we've only got the 5 subs back here in the Vanarama National League. So that's our squad for the second game in today's episode. You can see that recent form now, as we brought up before, not looking quite as good as it was going in to today's episode. So hopefully can find a way to turn that around. Newport County going here with quite a narrow formation, the midfield diamond and 2 up front. But their recent form, they have not lost many games, and that goal differential is a little bit scary. Easily the best in this division, positive 21. They are certainly a very good goal scoring team. So hopefully can find a way here to keep them quiet. If we start getting battered here, this could be a chance for us to use our block, albeit at home. Hopefully the base will work quite well on the attack early. Some good short passing from that thrown, and Sebastian Williams will find Colwell on that right-hand side. And thankfully this time we actually score a goal, unlike in that Reading game, less than 2 minutes. In fact, by the time this throw took place, it might have been bang on 2 minutes. No, it's not. It's just afterwards, but still Colville cuts inside nicely and weaves that one through the defence into the bottom left corner. And we take an early 1-0 lead with the first attack of this game. So thankfully looking a bit better here than we did in the FA Cup against some League 2 opposition, albeit now down the other end here for a free kick to Newport. They go quite close there from a tight angle, but thankfully Charlie Kesper does tip that one out for a corner. But still, that will see us jump up a little bit on that league table, firmly inside of a playoff position if we can win this game. So hopefully that's something that we can do. Off the back of this too, our fixtures do get quite easy for quite a while on paper. So hopefully we can pick up points from this game and then maybe charge our way firmly into a promotion position. Potentially a good chance there from a corner for Morgan. It comes off the woodworks to go close there to making it 2-0, just shy of the 25-minute mark. But unfortunately Morgan this time can't quite hit the target, but still looking quite good in this game, apart from that chance that Newport did have there from the corner. We can't make that one count now. Morgan heads that one down nicely for Williams. It's a brilliant chance, but a good save there from the Newport goalkeeper to only keep it at 1-0. But certainly looks like we're on the verge of scoring a second goal here, more than Newport are of making it 1. Also, it's quite good here, well on top of them in this game. The issue being that we really want that second goal, especially off the back of that Barnet game I just played. We did get it eventually, but then didn't put the foot down, and it proved costly. Let's hope this time we can do that. Morgan on a yellow card, maybe we'll consider taking him off going into the second half. But to be fair, so far doing quite well on that 6.9. A late free kick here, which unfortunately we can't link up with anyone from, but thankfully Midgley retreats quite well to get that ball back for us. Now Hewlett will find Kirby out to Adelusi. We try and get something going here down our right-hand side through Pignon. We'll put that one into the mixer. It's a shocker there from the Newport goalkeeper. Not too sure what he's done there, but he's ended up on the ground, and George Morgan heads that one home. Definitely not taking him off now, going into the second half even on that yellow card. But somehow we've made it 2-0. McLean was there. The defender heads there across the face of goal, but for some reason the goalkeeper takes a bit of a dive, and Morgan can put that one into an open net. To be fair, if I was a Newport manager, I might throw the laptop out off the back of that effort because it was pathetic. But thankfully, off the back of a couple of pretty average ratings for Charlie Kesper, we get one going in our favour there. We'll bring on Kazim Falik here at halftime on that deep yellow, and also actually Charlie Pavey will bring on here for McLean on a 6.4 at left wing. We'll see what we can do there at left wing. As I said, Morgan's doing quite well despite being on that yellow card. So we'll keep him out here for the second half, and hopefully this time put the foot down and pick up all 3 points, especially with this one being at home. But that's not a good start there. Williams with a poor giveaway, but thankfully Newport don't clear their lines too well. We get back on the attack. Pavey, a lovely through ball there for George Morgan, and he's on a hat-trick, so hopefully he won't pick up a second yellow before he picks up a third goal, because now got a chance here to pick up the match ball in this game. But thankfully win that ball there through some good reading there from Hewlett. Get the ball forward to Pavey. A wonderful through ball that, and Morgan is able to get in between the defenders and put that one away in the bottom right corner. and we make it 3-0, and hopefully that's the goal which makes sure we pick up all 3 points from this game. Really well timed run, that one, just making sure he is onside and had the pace there to put that one away. And this, to be fair, has been a pretty dominant display. Wasn't quite expecting this type of win against the team who do sit in second. Fingers crossed, of course, we actually hold on and pick up the win, not like what we did in that Barnet game, but this time we've scored in the second half, which is quite nice. We're going to keep an eye out here on other players who drop down to red hearts. Off the back of this, we've got one more game, I believe, and then something like a 2-week gap, seeing as we didn't make our way through to the next round of the FA Cup. So we'll see what happens here with the players we do have out there. We'll actually take off the opinion who's going a bit fairly for Carson with their final sub as we make our way into the final 15 minutes of this game. Holding on nicely, that 3-0 lead. So it looks like here we'll pick up 3 big points, and that should get us firmly inside the playoff picture. A good footing there from Williams does mean we get that ball back there through Kirby from that free kick. Casper picks out Kazim there down our left-hand side. What can he do? Cuts inside a bit before finding Midgley. We just keep the ball there. I think that was through Pavey. Morgan was on, and it goes out there to Sebastian Williams, who puts that one away. It was a bit there of an iffy highlight. Quite lucky that that ball did fall to Williams. And also, actually, I did think that Morgan might be offside here from this Pavey ball indeed. I'm not really too sure how the flag hasn't gone up there. Maybe that defender just out of shot kept him onside, but it didn't look like that was the case. But either way, it found Sebastian Williams, who puts it away. And Morgan actually somehow gets the assist for that one. So he's picked up a double and got an assist there off a tackle, it looked like. So a bit lucky there for Morgan that wasn't blown up. But to be fair, he won't mind. He's now got an assist to go alongside that double. Unfortunately, couldn't make it a hat-trick. Still, he's having a blinder is the former Evertonian. Now it's Newport here looking for a consolation goal. Is about to take over here added time in this game. They float a ball far post, and Carson will push over there Wilson in the back. So this could actually be quite good for the finances, giving away a late penalty to make sure there'll be no clean sheet bonus hard here. We'll send Casper the wrong way. Just a quiet fist bump on the sideline, saying as that's going to save us money. But to be fair, as I said earlier, Tycoon Takeover, the money situation here, while not great currently, isn't that bad. The owner will probably pump some money in if we really need him to, but that is a really good display against the second best team currently in the league. We pick up a 4-1 win, a Morgan double as well as that slightly controversial late assist. As I said, didn't think he was offside for that one, but apparently that wasn't the case. And also, of course, that first goal, which was scored by Colville inside of the first 2 minutes. They score one late there from a penalty through Sam Hart, which Carson did give away after coming on at right back. But that is a very good 3 points, our first win for a couple of games in the league, which is quite nice, of course, off the back of that slight poor run we were getting in there off the back of that FA Cup loss. And it does see us move up to 6th. To be fair, not as much of a jump as you might expect, but a big couple of points there, because if we didn't win that game, we would have dropped outside of one of those playoff spots. So thankfully we round things off there nicely in today's episode with that strong 4-1 win over Newport off the back of getting knocked out there of the FA Cup by Reading. Not too unexpected, but still 3-0 at home stings a little bit. And also we blew that lead away at Barnet, but thankfully still find ourselves here in a playoff spot. That point against Barnet didn't end up being too bad, and the 3 points there against Newport were actually quite important. Otherwise, would have been down there on 27 and outside of a playoff spot. So continue our rise here with this Buxton team inside the top 7 now. Still a wee way behind Scunthorpe on top of the table, but of course that's a team I'm pretty sure we bet earlier this season. Indeed, we bet them 4-1. We're not that bad all of a sudden, so maybe we have some sneaky promotion chance here with this Buxton team. After all, firmly inside of a playoff spot. I say firmly only by 1 point, but still, we're looking good. And off the back of this, we haven't got that rest, as I said, quite yet. It comes up in just over a week's time, but we've got some games coming up, apart from Dagenham and Redbridge, which do look quite kind. Torquay United, they're down near the bottom, away from home, and also I think might have just sacked their manager. And Halifax in 19th, so definitely expecting 6 points from those games. Dagenham and Redbridge could be tricky with those guys being up and 4th above us, but apart from that, the next month or so doesn't actually look too bad, so hopefully a good chance for us here. Keep picking up points and maybe can close that gap on Scunthorpe United on top of the league, and at the very least, make sure we have a decent chance of being a playoff team here come the end of the league season. But I think that will do it for today's episode. Unfortunately, our very brief run in the FA Cup came to an end there thanks to Reading, but then bounced back well with that 4-1 win over Newport County. If you enjoyed that one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Now, in terms of what we come back for in tomorrow's episode, I think the Dagenham Redbridge game probably comes up a little bit too soon, and there's not much interesting around then, depending on who we get in the third round of the FA Trophy. But to be fair, that's a competition. I think this season we actually should go quite close, and I said it last season. This time, I think I actually mean it. So the FA Trophy could be a good chance for us here to pick up a trophy this season if we don't go on and make a title push here in the Vanarama National League. But December does look a little bit average, so I'm not too sure actually what we'll come back for in tomorrow's episode. Maybe Dorking, because they're the best there of those teams at the moment that we do take on, especially as that one is away from home. So to be fair, I'm not too sure what we're going to come back for in tomorrow's episode, but probably some games in December. Otherwise, that's quite a big gap before we go forward to January and then take on some teams right up there in terms of being in the promotion hunt, like Ebbsfleet as well as Bradford City. So I think we'll come back tomorrow, a couple of games in December, and make our way through the new year come the start of next week. So until tomorrow, or whatever game we come back for tomorrow, as I said, probably Dorking, seeing as they're away from home. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.